Good morning and welcome to the Dawg Show, your source for the latest Empire news and sports. I'm your host, Mace Monteith.
And I'm Mary Pica. Welcome back after a nice, relaxing summer break.
It's nice to get back into the swing of things. This first week has been good to knock the rust off and get used to waking up earlier than most of us are used to.
There are plenty of activities and organizations to get involved with at Empire. You can check out our video board in the foyer in the high school or our high school website, empireschools.org, to find out what we have to offer.
That's right, a lot of groups and organizations have already been busy. Our FFA has already been to several contests, including today at the Stevens County Fair, and the Ag Boosters hosted a fish fry on Meet the Teach Night. There were over 100 people that attended.
Dog Pack and Stuco have already started having meetings, and there are sign-up sheets in the foyer for our archery program. You can fill out a form or get with Miss White for more information. And Yearbook has 2020 quarantine yearbooks for sale. These yearbooks could be collector items at some point. They're only $35, and buy Miss Field if you want one.
Our reporter, KK Smith, talked to our superintendent, Mr. Smith, about the expectations for this school year. Here's this week's Bulldog Spotlight.
I'm KK Smith with the Dawg Show. We are just getting started with the new school year, and we figured it would be a good idea to talk to the boss man, Mr. Smith, about the expectations for this year. Mr. Smith, thank you for joining with us today.
Thank you.
How would you compare last year's start of school to this year's?
Our school year started very smoothly this year. Last year there were a lot of unknowns and things that we didn't know how they would turn out. Hopefully this year we're prepared for those things, and we've made plans on how to deal with those. So the school year started very smoothly, and we hope that that continues.
Tell us a little bit about this year's school-wide focus.
Our school-wide focus this year is school spirit, and it is the 100th anniversary of Empire Public Schools, and so we want to really focus on renewing the excitement around being a Bulldog, and hopefully we can renew some old traditions and kind of bring back the love of being a Bulldog this year.
Are there any big changes to school this year?
Not a lot of big changes. Our staff turnover was very minimal, so that's a good thing. We have a lot of the same people that we did last year, and that's always helpful. We're just tweaking a few things that we wanted to change from last year that we thought we could possibly do better. So not a lot of big changes, but we are excited for a new year.
What about the concession stand and the Cheatwood Ag Complex? How's that going?
Great news there. Our concession stand and locker rooms, restrooms complex at the baseball, softball, and football field is complete. We have got the certificate of occupancy, which means we can move in and use those, so we're very excited about that. The locker rooms are air conditioned, the restrooms are air conditioned, the concession has air for the workers and people that are coming through there, and it's a really nice facility. We would always like to have bigger and better things, and so we're really excited about getting that going, and hopefully the community can enjoy that, and it's something they can be proud of.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks for the report, KK. Before we send it over to the elementary, here's a look at this year's class officers. Now let's kick it over to our first elementary Bulldog broadcast of the year.
Thanks, Mary, and thank you for tuning in to the Bulldog broadcast.
Every week we will tell you about what's going on in the elementary.
With school starting up, it's been pretty slow in the elementary, just getting used to being back in class.
Our teachers are working hard on getting us ready for the grind of the school year.
And part of that hard work is getting our 4th and 5th grade laptops. All of us have laptops and are using them in our classes now.
We talked with our elementary principal, Mr. Skiles, about the upcoming year.
I'm here today to talk with Mr. Skiles about what's coming up for the elementary this year. Thank you, Mr. Skiles, for joining us today. Is there anything new going on in the elementary?
Thank you, Autumn. There's lots going on in the elementary today, and we have some new things going on. The first thing is we're trying to get back to a normal school year after our COVID year last year. We still have some issues with COVID going on, but we are trying to get back to a normal year. We're going to hopefully have field trips this year. We're trying to limit the amount of mask wearing. However, it's still optional, but we are also keeping things clean and trying to follow all the CDC guidelines.
How are things going to be different in the elementary from last year?
Well, we are going to keep a lot of things the same, but like I said, we are going to change our mask policies a little bit. They are optional but recommended. We are going to do field trips this year. We are allowing a few more visitors in, so for assemblies, things like that. We're just trying to get back to more of a normal school year this year, and hopefully we will limit the number of interruptions in class and continue learning as much as possible.
Tell us what one-to-one stands for.
Well, one-to-one means we are going to try to get a new laptop computer into the hands of each student in grades 4 through 12. So every kid 4 through 12 should have a new laptop computer this year. So we're hoping that in case we do get shut down, we will already have that in place, and if not, then we can implement more technology into the classroom.
So what does that mean for the students?
So students will now have the ability to take their computers home and be able to do any of their homework at home through their computer. If teachers are implementing Google Classroom or Celis in their classroom, they can do all of their work at home with their laptop, and then of course bring it back and do a lot more things digitally.
Would you like to say anything else to the parents and students?
Well, I hope that we all have a safe year. I would also ask for patience as we are rolling out our one-to-one initiative. Anytime we have technology, sometimes it's challenging, but we are trying to address all issues as they come up. And also with the COVID, if we have a spike in COVID, then we will have to make some adjustments, and just to be patient, be safe, and continue learning, and we appreciate all the support.
Thank you, Mr. Skiles. We are looking forward to another great year. Now back to you.
Thanks for that report. If you have any story ideas or suggestions, email us to the address on your screen.
Now let's go over to the Bulldog Weather Center and take a look at the upcoming forecast.
Thanks, Mason and Annabelle. Today, look for a break in the rain and cooler temperatures with a high of 92 degrees. This weekend, look for the warmer conditions to continue and the sun to stay out with highs on Saturdays and Sunday in the low 90s. Next week, look for the high ranging from the 90s to the 100s. That's a look at your Bulldog weather. Now back to you in the Bulldog broadcast booth.
Thanks for that weather report.
That's all the time we have for the Bulldog broadcast.
Tune back in next week for more news from the elementary. Now over to Nicholas for a look at your Bulldog sports.
Thanks, guys. Softball has been in full swing since before school started. This past week, the Lady Dogs beat Elmore City in Bray. The Lady Dogs look to continue their winning streak this upcoming week at home on Monday and Tuesday, and on the road next Thursday. Our reporter, Ava Boozer, talked with our newest fast pitch head coach about the upcoming season.
Thanks, Nick. I'm here today with our new fast pitch coach, Coach Amber Molina. Thanks for talking with us today.
Absolutely.
First, Coach Molina, tell the Bulldog Nation a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Amber Molina. I graduated from Marlowe, and I went and played 4 years at Mid-America Christian University, and I came back home, graduated with my degree in education. I am married. We have a 4-year-old named Noah, and we have one on the way. It is going to be a girl, and then we also have a foreign exchange student named Mary.
Since the season has already started, how do you feel things are going so far?
I feel like after the first couple of games, we got a lot of the jitters out, and I think that we finally improved. I think once we get practice kind of in between those games, we're going to definitely be a lot more successful, but we got to work out the kinks and just kind of move forward from there.
What are your goals looking forward into the future for the fast pitch program?
I've said this from day one that I just want to build the program up. It's not so much about winning, but it is about improving and seeing the girls be successful and being out there trying and giving it their all each game.
Thanks, Coach Molina. You can find our fast pitch schedule on our website at empireschools.org. Now back to you, Nick.
Thanks, Ava. The Bulldog football team is coming up on one of the most successful football seasons in school history. The first football game of the year is right around the corner, and the Dogs have their only scrimmage tonight at Fox at 7:30. Carson Skiles interviewed Coach Hayes about the upcoming season.
I'm Carson Skiles, here today with our head football coach, Coach Hayes. Coach Hayes, thanks for joining us today.
You bet, brother.
Coach Hayes, tell us a little bit about the year so far.
Well, we just had practice so far. We just got 2 days of pads in. Things are looking really good. We're changing some things offensively and defensively, so it's taking a little bit longer than kind of like what we had expected. But I think it's getting easier and getting acclimated to the heat. All those different things are part of it right now. But for the most part, we're doing pretty good.
Coming off a district championship last year, what are your expectations for this year?
Another district championship. I mean, I don't think there's anything less than what we expect as a group. I don't think that we're not expecting to be fourth place or not make the playoffs. We expect our number one goal is another district championship, and it's going to take a lot of work. But I think with the kids that we've got, that's another big possibility.
Tell us about some of your key players for this year.
We have we're going to have a few contributors this year. It takes all 8 of us, but we moved Gabe Diaz. He was our offensive player of the year in our district last year. We moved him to quarterback. 2 guys that didn't play much offense will be, well, actually, 3 or 4 guys that didn't play much offense, at our skill positions. Santos, McCrae, Damian, and Shelby are all guys that didn't see the field much offensively. Next year, we're going to be counting on those guys. Those guys up front, Nicholas, Mace, Chase, all those guys will be, if as far as, getting people blocked and doing things right, it's going to start with those guys. And, mainly the same guys defensively. We're all going to be out there and getting after it. And so those same guys defensively will be, who we're counting on the most this year.
When will the season kick off, and when is the first home game?
We go to Fox Friday night, scrimmage Fox's, and then we go to Wellston, then Velma, and then our first home game will be week 3 here versus Temple.
Thank you, Coach Hayes. Now back to you, Nick.
Thanks, Carson. The Dogs' first game of the season is next week at Wellston. That's a look at your week of Bulldog sports. Now back to you in the Dog Show studio.
Thanks, Nick. That's all the time we have for the Dog Show this week.
Keep checking our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Empire Media Productions, where you can find all of our past dog shows and other EMP content.
In the coming weeks, we be on the lookout for the return of Zaid, a revamped Bulldog Spotlight, Bulldog Book Talk, the EMP Dogcast, and the Bulldog Beat with Roderick and Carlos, just to name a few.
And if you have pictures or videos of school spirit, send us an email to the address on your screen.
Thank you for tuning in to Season 2, Episode 1 of The Dog Show. We will see you next week.
Thanks for stopping by, Empire.
What are your expectations